What's going on, everybody? America Football Network here today, and today we are bringing you our Colorado preview and prediction. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach that goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. We are 99 away, and we are getting close to hitting our monetization goal. And hitting those goals, we need about 350 more watch hours, and we need 99 more subscribers. So help us out. Help us reach that goal. We appreciate all of the support we've gotten over these. I think it's been 2 or 3 years now that we've been doing this channel. I appreciate all the support from you guys. Make sure you comment your thoughts down below on how you think Colorado will do this year. Make sure you check out the description where you can find links to our podcast, website, Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo if you're interested in helping support, and our College Football Roundup channel. But let's go ahead and dive in and get started with today's video for the Colorado Buffaloes. So obviously Colorado has a lot of new stuff, a lot of new pieces and stuff coming into this season with, just looking at the new coach and Deion Sanders. And then you think about all the transfers. They only returned 2 starters on defense and 4 on offense just because of all the guys transferring in. It's been crazy how many people Deion has basically forced out too. I think there's like 40 or 50 players from Colorado that have entered the transfer portal. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with Colorado. They do have Shoutout Sanders at quarterback, who's been pretty good. Now that, granted, a lot of these guys did play for Jackson State, but he was a pretty high recruit. Then they have Travis Hunter at cornerback / receiver. He's another one. He was the number 1 recruit in the country. Was going to go to Florida State. He'll be fine playing against these top teams. But it's, there's a lot of those guys that are transferring in. I don't really know how good exactly they are because, they've only played against Jackson State or for Jackson State in those FCS schools. And, so we'll have to see how they go. Obviously a bad roster for the most part. They have the few players they do have left from last year were a part of a 1-11 team. So we'll see. Now, I do think Deion Sanders is a better head coach than they've had probably the last 15 years, maybe even longer than that. But there's a lot of off the field stuff going on with him right now, with surgeries and blood clots and his foot potentially being amputated, and there's all this stuff spiraling around that. That's all you hear about from Colorado. You don't hear about anything that they're actually doing. You just hear about that. So that could be some distractions and stuff. But I think Colorado long-term may be fine with Deion Sanders, but this year I think they're going to struggle. So let's go ahead and jump in to that schedule. So they start off week 1 on the road against TCU. TCU won the Big 12, went to the national championship game last year before they got absolutely just destroyed and annihilated by Georgia. But TCU does bring back a good bit. They also get the Oregon State quarterback transfer in, Chance Nolan at quarterback. I think TCU is still going to be a top 25 team, probably a top 20, top 15 team this year. And I don't think Colorado is anywhere near that level, not to mention it's week 1 with all this new stuff for them. It's on the road. I just see Colorado. Colorado losing this game. I just don't think that they're going to be able to compete with TCU. I think Colorado may have a few big plays here or there, but for the most part, I think TCU will control the game. Then they get Nebraska at home. This is going to be a big game. Matt Rule in his first year at Nebraska, Deion in his first year at Colorado. But I have Colorado winning this game just because we all know how year 1 Matt Rule teams do. They don't do very good typically. There's Nebraska was just a little bit better than Colorado last year. Excuse me. was just a little bit better than Colorado last year. And I just think with this game being at home for Colorado, it's week 2. Matt Rule's never usually good in year 1 with his teams. I think Colorado will win. Then you get Colorado State in week 3. I think this is a win. Colorado State is just not a very good team. I don't feel like they're going to be able to compete with this Colorado team now that they have some, now that they have some big pieces or more pieces, to add some very talented players, some players that are going to go to the NFL actually. So I think that Colorado is just better than Colorado State coming into the season. I think they get the win. Then they get a very tough 2-game stretch. They go on the road to Oregon. That is a loss. Oregon is they're just much more talented. They're too talented for Colorado to just deal with. Oregon, is they got a potential Heisman quarterback in Bo Nix. They have better receivers, they're better at everything than Colorado, including coaching, in my opinion. So I think Oregon will beat Colorado, especially, and it's on the road to Oregon. Colorado is going to get smoked in this game. Then they get USC at home. This is going to be a loss. Caleb Williams and USC going to have a huge day. They just have too much offensive firepower. Now, this is a game I could see Colorado scoring some points with the fact that a Lincoln Riley defense is never very good. So I could see, Colorado putting up some points, but I still think USC wins by like 20. Then they go on the road to Arizona State. I think this game is a loss. Going on the road to Arizona State, they're down after losing those last 2 games and probably pretty big. Arizona State beat them last year 42-34. I know this is a different team for Colorado than last year, but I still think that this is going to be a game that Colorado loses. I mean, they're year 1 under the new head coach. I don't see a lot going Colorado's way this year. Then they get Stanford at home. This is a win. As bad as Colorado is, Stanford's even worse. Now, this would be a very interesting game to see who sucks the worst in the Pac-12 if Deion hadn't came to Colorado. We didn't get that game last year. They didn't play. But, I just think that Stanford is just in such a mess. I think they were probably both teams were probably even coming into this offseason, but Deion got he brings in with him some guys, transfers that he's gotten that make them a little bit better than Stanford is. So I think they get the win here, especially with it being a home game. Then a bye week before they go on the road to UCLA, and I think they lose that game. UCLA and Dante Moore by this point are going to be settled in. Excuse me. All the kinks figured out for UCLA. They will have worked out all their offensive troubles earlier on. The defense is going to be good. Chip Kelly and UCLA, I think, are going to have a pretty good season, and I think they're going to get the win over Colorado. I don't see Colorado being able to score enough points in this game, to be honest about it. And then they get Oregon State at home. This is a loss. Oregon State, regardless of whoever their quarterback is, if it's DJ or the other guy, I'm blanking on his name, they're battling for the job. But, I'd imagine it'd be DJ Uyunglele's job. I think Oregon State wins regardless, whoever they are, because I just see Oregon State as a much more physical and dominating team than Colorado is. I think Oregon State will dominate them on both lines of scrimmage. They're going to run the ball down their throat. They're going to throw it over their heads nonstop. I think Oregon State probably I think this game probably finishes like 41-24 or something like that. And then they get Arizona at home. This is another loss. I think Arizona is really on the rise here lately. Jaden DeLore at quarterback, going to be a very good quarterback this year. I think that I think that Arizona is going to score some points in this game. I think this one will finish like 31-24, 31-20, something like that. And I think Arizona gets the win. I like where Arizona's going. So another loss for Colorado. Then they go on the road to Washington State. I was kind of torn between this game, kind of 50-50 on it. What led me to the conclusion of giving Washington State the win is that it was a road game for Colorado. But I think these teams are somewhat decently even overall. I think that they're in a little bit similar spots. Colorado obviously in a little bit of a worse spot, but Washington State not in the greatest spot. But I think they're pretty even right now in the off season. But I think, like looking at it right now, but I do think that by this time this game is played, that Washington State will be a top 25 team, or just outside the top 25. I think that Washington State's going to have a good year, but I do think, like, going into the season right now, I would say that most people would say that they're pretty even. But I do think Washington State will end up a top 25 team, and I think on the part of their way to that is beating Colorado right here. Then Colorado goes on the road to number 14 Utah. No discussion needed for this game. Utah's going to beat them like 42-14. They're going to absolutely crush them. It's not even going to be a close game at all. They beat them 63-21 last year. So yeah, I think Utah will absolutely kill Colorado. So I have Colorado going 3-9, 1-8 in the Pac-12. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you thought about it. Give me any team suggestions you have. We're going to be doing 66 college football predictions over this next month. From July 4th to August 4th, we're kicking it off. We're doing 66 in that time frame, or at least going to try to. So I'm sure your team will get there eventually, but help me hit that goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of July, and we will see you guys.